show when we're already laughing and talking trash before the show even gets started. Welcome to Valley View Live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ricky Cheese.
What is up, Las Vegas? It's almost Friday. We're hours away. I'm Megan Tellis.
I'm Javu. Today, the stars of truTV's Hardcore Pond, Les and Seth Gold, join us as our special guest hosts. How are you guys? So great to see you.
We're good. Thanks for having us.
Do you ever let Ashley out of the store?
Well, somebody has to run it, and since we're here, she's there.
Well,
so
she's there. She's always there, it seems. Well, it's so great to see you. What brings you back into town?
So we got the JCK event going on this weekend, and I'm representing with Thermo Fisher Scientific. So I'm here on behalf of them and, you know, hanging out and enjoying Vegas.
Yeah, and I've been seeing all over social, right? Because you operate all the social media behind your guys' brand. Oh, you got hacked recently.
Yeah, I got hacked. That's not a good feeling, you know?
Did you feel violated?
Yeah, it was out of his mind.
I was out of my mind. You know, I woke up yesterday morning and someone took over my account and was doing all types of crazy things. So I recommend strong passwords, everybody.
Yes.
You know, keep them strong and
change them often.
And change them often, And the guy was so proud that he did it, and he kept like.
Found him.
Well, he was writing me. He was direct messaging me saying like, "Hey, by the way, I have your account."
So now you're going to hire him to do your
I was like, but it's so you do feel violated. It's like identity theft, and it's like one of those things. It's just not a good feeling, and especially with a large following, it's just like, you know, people don't know at first what's really going on, and so.
Yeah, well, it's because you're such a big deal now. You know, all of you guys.
Wow, such a big deal. Wow. They didn't hack me. I must not be a big deal as him.
Are you on social?
Of course I am. Of course I am. Less HCP. Are you kidding?
He has a hard time turning on his phone and turning on a computer, but yes.
But I have him do it every morning when I come to work.
He's the whole mastermind behind
it. Oh, of course he is.
Yes.
He's something behind it.
We've got a whole bunch of stuff that we're going to talk about here in front of us on the set, but let's talk about you guys at the store. When Seth came on, when you guys were here the last time, we talked about some of the craziest things. So what have you seen since your last visit?
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know if we talked about it, but we had Jack Kevorkian's van come through the shop.
Like
Kevorkian's van?
His suicide van.
Yeah. Wow.
So assisted suicide.
Assisted suicide van. Yeah, so it made its way through some hands and ultimately it ended up in our shop. Yeah, it's crazy. Kind of like, you want to buy it?
Right.
It's actually in layaway. We bought it. I bought it for $20,000. And we sold it for $25,000. And the guy's got it in layaway. He's had it in layaway for about 18 months. And you know, we're waiting for him to pay it off and get it the heck out of the store to make room for more stuff for me to buy.
Right. How do you go about setting a price on an item like that with that kind of clout and prestige, if you will?
Yeah, exactly. So the guy who came in, he originally wanted $100,000 for it. And we ended up negotiating, and we said, well, flip a coin. And my dad, who's like on the cuff, like, just let's make things happen, flips a coin, either $20,000 or $40,000. And he flips it, and we got it for 20 grand.
Good.
So wow. So it was good.
Yeah, trust me, it's not that good because this van is hard to sell. So like,
but it's the thought of it. You know, it's owning some piece of Detroit history.
Right.
And that's it. I mean, nothing says Detroit like Jack and
Right. Sometimes when you make a bid with someone and they feel like it's not a high enough bid, there's some tension there when they get mad because they think that their item is much more valuable than you guys do.
Well, that's it. It's all about negotiating. You know, in my book, I wrote a book, Business Wisdom from a Pawnbroker. For what it's worth. And I talk about negotiating. Manage your emotion. You know, one of the things that people don't understand is Grandma gave it to me, Mommy gave it to me, somebody in the family, so they put a higher value on it. Know your bottom line and know when to walk away. Those are the three basic ideas for negotiating.
And do you find that women are afraid to negotiate, to ask for a lower price?
I think people in general are afraid to ask. Doesn't matter women or men. But go into a store and ask for a deal. The worst that they can say to you is no, right?
Right, and you still have your item, so, you know.
And so whenever somebody feels that they're not getting a fair price, they're free to walk someplace else, right? We're not forcing anybody to take the amount of money we're offering, and we have to conduct business. So it's one of those things where we have to balance the business end and we have to balance the personal end.
Speaking of business, you've got some deals that folks can get involved in online.
Yeah, well, you know, we were at this SHOT Show 4 or 5 months ago, and as I was walking around the floor, I realized that crossbows are really something that people have a demand for.
Really?
So we started carrying crossbows, and the deal for your viewer, they'll get 25% off of, is it 25% off?
Yep.
It's a free hat.
And free
hat. I mean, we're giving all kinds of stuff away, so if they log on to Pawn Detroit, put in the coupon Valley View Live, they get great deals.
Maybe that has everything to do with Walking Dead, The Walking Dead, where one of his weapons is a crossbow.
Exactly.
So I just binge watched 5 seasons.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's why.
Well, there's a huge demand for this type of merchandise. And so, in the pawn business, you have to stay one step ahead.
Yeah.
Little did I know, a year ago, that I was going to be carrying crossbows. We have jewelry, television sets.
Right.
Jack Kevorkian's van, amongst other things.
Diamonds, like the one in your ear,
Diamonds,
always
we have
popular. Yeah.
You guys are sporting some pretty nice ones I looked at.
But also, is that what?
I was looking at his chain.
No, so it's a loop.
Oh,
That's a loop.
jeweler's loop. This is when we start appraising your stuff and looking.
Yeah, we'll do that a little bit later in the show, so we're excited about that. Well, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, we're going to see that. And right now, though, we're going to talk about our trending topics. You guys are going to sound off. It can be difficult finding work these days, but there are jobs out there that are expected to grow over the next few years, especially for women. The Street.com came up with a list of the 11 jobs for women, they predict, in 2015. Number 1, an actuary. This job, traditionally male-dominated, analyzes financial risk and is projected to grow 26% over the next 7 years. That's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Number 2, advertising and promotions manager. The annual median wage of this job is over $100,000 a year. That's expected to grow, that job category, by 12%. And number 3, biomedical engineer. CNN Money ranked this job as one of the 100 best jobs in America, expected to grow by 27%. Number 4, dental hygienist. Nearly 97% of dental hygienists are women, and the demand for this job also continues to grow. In at number 5, education administrator. Now, usually a master's degree or higher is required, but the field is predominantly dominated by women, and that job growth is expected to grow by 15%. Wow. We're going to post a link of the full list on our website after the show. But here's a question. Are you happy in your career, or would you like to make a change, and why? You guys are obviously quite satisfied by what you do, but Ashley's the only, when I go into pawn shops, I don't see a whole lot of women working in them.
I think that trend's actually changing. I do see a lot of women in pawn shops. So whenever I go around the country visiting pawn shops, I tend to stop in anywhere I'm at. Front counter, front of house are women.
Yeah, I see on your show actually quite a few women.
Exactly. So I think that market's opening up, and traditionally it's not seen as a female-dominated industry, mostly male. But I think that's actually trending the opposite way right now.
Did you guys always want to be in the pawn business, or how did you get started, Les?
I always wanted to be in the pawn business. My grandfather opened Sam's Loan pawn shop in the 1940s.
Wow.
I was born in 1950, and in 1957 I made my first sale. It was a hydraulic jack, and little would I have imagined that making my first deal at 7 would turn out to be my vocation that I absolutely love. I love wheeling and dealing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And when opening a business, right, they always say location, location, location. Why did you choose the 8 Mile corridor, which, again, talking about infamy and that sort of thing?
Well, what happened was in 1978, I opened up American Jewelry, and I opened it up in a suburb called Oak Park, which was just north of 8 Mile. I was the first suburban pawn shop in Michigan.
Wow.
Because I saw a demand for it.
Right.
In 1992, they didn't want me in the mall anymore because the perception of being a pawn shop in this upscale mall, they didn't want it. So we ended up buying the bowling alley, which you see on Hardcore Pawn. In 1992, 1993, we opened 3 months later, and the rest is history.
Yeah, and your kids try to sell it from underneath you. You stop that.
Not that location.
I think he's all over that location.
Right.
It was a different one.
Let's talk about what else is trending today. It is time to raise a toast to a study that finds drinking wine at night could actually help you lose weight, guys. According to the Daily Mail, a Harvard University study that reportedly took place over the course of, get this, 13 years. It included 20,000 women, showed that those who drank half a bottle of wine a day had a 70% lower risk of obesity. Another study presented at the European Conference on Obesity in Prague this month showed that people who drink a glass of red wine every night have higher levels of good cholesterol, which lowers the risk of heart disease and can help improve type 2 diabetes. So red wine is more acceptable than white wine because of its antioxidants and resveratrol, which helps break down and process fats. What are your out-of-the-box ideas for losing weight? What do you guys do? Because you guys both look really good.
Yeah, you're in shape.
Yeah.
Just before I bought the building, I weighed 240 pounds.
Whoa.
And I was really out of control. I was eating 2 pounds of M&Ms a day and Burger King chocolate milkshakes, and I said I had to make a change.
Yeah.
And so I hired a personal trainer.
Nice.
And I went on a lifestyle change, and it's in my book also. Diets don't work. if you say you're going on a diet, it's lifestyle change. I watch what I eat. My favorite food of all time, fried chicken. I absolutely love it.